Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the second blog entry on Emerald City, which is the first DAO on the Flow blockchain. This was a project that I started about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I actually released my first blog entry last week, and so this is sort of like the weekly update on where the project is going, and sort of just to inform all of you, what the process is like and what's going on and all that kind of stuff. So there's actually really exciting news. We recently just made an announcement in the Discord that's actually really big, and so that's kind of what I'm going to communicate in this video. And there's a lot to it, so I'm going to try and step through it step by step. And if some of it isn't clear, then make sure to join the Discord. You can ask there. We have a bunch of discussions every day about where this DAO is going, what the goals are, who's taking on what tasks. But a lot of this is still very new, and so we're still figuring a lot of this out. But yeah, so I'm just going to be communicating where this project is at. So essentially, I kind of want to start with like the what has taken place so far. Really, this sort of DAO, right? It's not like a full-on DAO yet because there's no like token, there's no governance really going on yet because it's still very new. But this sort of community was sort of formed initially from this YouTube channel because people really appreciated the learning content and they wanted a place to sort of get support, ask questions about the Flow blockchain. And so a lot of the members so far have joined the Discord, said they've enjoyed the videos, and said that they're looking for Flow resources, and so we provided them with that. And we've also found that a lot of people have been interested in kickstarting their own projects on Flow. And so being able to receive personal support from me and other members of the Flow community that have coded in Cadence and been on Flow for a while, having their support is really helpful, especially for people that aren't developers that are just coming to Flow for the first time. Or maybe they are previous developers, but they just haven't learned Flow blockchain yet, or maybe they're even new to Web3 in general. So there's a lot of people that have great ideas but don't know where to get started, and so a lot of them have joined the Discord sort of to kickstart their ideas, and so we've seen a lot of that recently. So our initial goals for this DAO were to not only be sort of like a hub for resources on Flow, like specifically educational resources, but we wanted to help teach people about the Cadence language. We wanted to help teach people about Flow. We also wanted to be a space to provide work opportunities to people. And we also just wanted to help people out in whatever way we could, right? We didn't really know what the DAO was for yet, right? Those were just our initial goals, and we kind of stuck with that. I was lucky enough to actually meet some members of the community through one-on-one calls or through group calls that we've had in the Discord, and so that's been really great. But we've had sort of a directional change, and this is somewhat of a large one in the past 2 days, and so this is sort of like an official announcement of that. So for those of you that don't know, I am the lead smart contract developer at Decentology, specifically for the Flow blockchain. I do a lot of the Cadence development there. And one of the things that we're doing at Decentology is called the Hyperverse. We're building the Hyperverse. And so this is sort of, I guess, like the one-liner is that it's a blockchain agnostic sort of smart contract marketplace that hosts composable smart contracts. And so there's a lot to that. And I'm going to link sort of like the description for the Hyperverse in the description. But really, this is like a big initiative. We're thinking that this could, be the future of Web3, specifically for smart contracts. And so we were sort of thinking, or at least I was thinking of a way to sort of incorporate this DAO into the Hyperverse. And so I met with Nick Kalyani, who's the CEO and co-founder of Decentology. And we've actually made sort of a directional shift towards actually taking on the role of being the first DAO on Flow and doing something with that. And so what that means is that we're now changing focus to not only providing the educational resources for Flow community members, helping people out, helping people find work opportunities. We're still doing all of that. However, the big thing now is that we're also going to be building the future tooling for all DAOs on the Flow blockchain. And the idea is that all the tooling that we build for future DAOs on Flow will actually contain composable smart contracts that will be on the Hyperverse. And so you can read about the Hyperverse more in the link that I'll provide in the description. But what this essentially means is that the contracts will have a built-in insurance layer from the Hyperverse. It will have contracts represented as NFTs that can be bought and sold between developers. It will have a bunch of things that the Hyperverse supports. And so all the tooling will actually be on the Hyperverse. And in addition, I think the biggest part of this is that because these smart contracts are composable, and again, that might be a confusing concept at first, but I'd be happy to explain to anybody. But because these contracts will be composable, that means that all future DAOs that want to use these contracts won't have to develop their own contracts, won't have to spend time ensuring those contracts, won't have to spend time unit testing them or trying to figure out what those contracts even are. They can simply use existing contracts that are on the Hyperverse for, that are supporting this tooling, and they can simply just run a function or call a function on the blockchain to get their own version of it and just be using that contract with their own data, which is super cool. And so this means that we're really like harnessing our position as the first DAO on Flow as a way to lead and take charge in this sort of push towards getting DAOs on Flow. And so one example that I want to show is I've actually pulled up this website here called Snapshot. And so Snapshot, if you haven't heard of it before, it's essentially a platform on Ethereum. Ethereum's another blockchain where most DAOs are currently being held. So it's a platform on, or maybe an application on Ethereum that allows people to make proposals and vote on proposals, and a lot of that is central to the core functionality of DAOs, right? There's usually a token in the DAO. You have certain voting power based on the DAO, based on the amount of tokens you have, and you can vote on proposals that community members make, and if that proposal gets X amount of votes, then it goes through. And so all of that functionality is actually handled by this website called Snapshot. And so you can see a bunch of DAOs on here, right? If you've heard of ENS or maybe Sushi DAO or Uniswap, there's a bunch of them here. But this is one example of tooling that doesn't exist on the Flow blockchain. There's no such thing as this, right? Because there's never been DAOs on Flow, so there's no tooling that exists to help DAOs get started. There's no Snapshot for Flow. There's no Discord bots that handle authentication on Flow, which is one thing that's also on Ethereum, right? There's no central tooling to allow DAOs to get started. And so because of that, we're going to be, like I said, leveraging our position as the first DAO on Flow to not only build this tooling, but to really harness our position as the first DAO and to sort of lead the way for DAOs on Flow. And so this is sort of a big deal and a lot of pressure, but I also think it's a fantastic opportunity and one that is going to be awesome for anyone that joins the community. And so there's a few things with that. One of which is that after talking with Nick, we've sort of come up with the idea that there will be bounties in the Emerald City DAO for people who want to sort of contribute to this future tooling. And so there has to be some sort of incentive for people to build this tooling, right? It can't just be through like a just go and do it and just unpaid and just spend a ton of time on it, right? Because this is going to take a lot of time. But we're going to actually introduce bounties for people in the DAO to actually actively work on building this future tooling for the Flow blockchain. And so Decentrology will actually be providing some initial capital to provide those bounties to other people. And we're hoping to also tie in maybe other sources of capital to help get people building this tooling for Flow, which is really exciting. And so besides because of that, how are people really going to be receiving these bounties? Well, back to the first video, I was talking about a token called Emerald. Emerald will actually be the sort of token that governs this Emerald City DAO. But it will also be the token that people receive as payment for contributing to the DAO. So for example, if you are part of a team that wants to start creating the Snapshot clone for Flow, then you will be rewarded in X amount of Emerald token, and that will be a token that's actually listed on BlocktoSwap on mainnet, so it has actual value, and it will just be like any other token in a swap pair. So out there right now, if you go on Uniswap or something and you want to trade for a token, the price of the token goes up and down based on how many people are trading it and how valuable it is and stuff like that. And so Emerald token will actually be a token on BlocktoSwap that people can trade initially for Flow token. That's sort of what we're thinking right now. And people will be rewarded in that if they are to make contributions to the DAO, which is awesome. So with all of that being said, this is still super early. A lot of this is just kind of like just being talked about, but like there's not a lot of like actually concrete examples of action being taken. But this is sort of the stuff that we're going to be developing over the next few days, and so I thought it would be interesting to sort of announce this out there and see if this generates interest, or if people want to keep joining the DAO. And we've seen people joining the DAO almost every single day. We have, I think, up to like 55 members at this point, just from the educational aspect. But I think tying in this sort of component where we really are taking charge in the Flow DAO ecosystem and building this future tooling, I think it's a great idea to do so. And in addition, we're also going to be, hearing from a lot of DAO experts in the Web3 space. One of which is Chase Chapman. She will be actually helping us along our journey about sort of how to govern the DAO initially, and how to get some, what are best practices, and how to keep people involved and be open to all and diverse and welcoming to a bunch of people, to everybody. And so that's what we're going to be doing. So that's sort of my 10-minute update on where Emerald City is at. There's probably a ton of questions around that, and the truth is, if you have any questions around that, it's probably because I haven't even answered it for myself, or for the DAO. A lot of this is still up for question, but this is just the goal as it is now. So thanks for listening to this video, and I'll probably see you next week for some more updates. And also, if you want to join the Discord, of course, if you want to join Emerald City, there's going to be a link in the description to join the Discord. I'll actually pull it up on the screen right now, so you can sort of get a quick little check to see what it's like and what you're going to see. We currently, if you look at the side here, we have around like 55 members here, some of which are actually hiring. We actually have introduced a role where if someone's name is yellow, that means they're actually currently hiring for Cadence developers. And so actually, I'll move my camera for a sec so you can see it. But see right here, like, so there's this little tag called hiring. That means that this person is actually hiring for whatever it may be. And you can sort of find these work opportunities in this opportunities channel. And there's been a bunch of other advancements, but if you want a sort of written version of what I just talked about in this video, go to the announcements channel and sort of read on from this point. And you'll get, I think, a better understanding of sort of where this DAO will be headed in the next couple of weeks / months. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.